Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
For property located at 5874 Conn Avenue, West Linda, parcel number 020-111-004. I'm Jeremy Strang. I'm representing code enforcement today. As your board is aware, this hearing is not a hearing related to a public nuisance, a cost accounting hearing. Because an appeal was not timely filed, that determination is final and no questions related to the nuisance can be considered today. So that means you are limited today in the scope of what you're deciding. First are if the administrative and abatement costs and penalties as reflected in the attached cost accounting accurate and reasonable, and that accounting is part of your hearing packet and labeled as attachment B. Second, should the administrative and abatement costs be placed on the property tax bill as a special tax assessment? And then third, should an abatement lien for all costs, including penalties, be recorded? So today, please accept that written staff report that I've submitted as a portion of my testimony. I believe that staff report does have all of the information necessary for you to arrive at your decision today. But of course, I have a PowerPoint to illustrate some of the violations that we observed during our time on the property, as well as some of the important dates that you'll need to know in arriving at your decision. So
through the chair, I'm so sorry. The PowerPoint is not showing on Zoom. Can I share the screen through that?
Certainly. I guess I forgot to hit share screen. Here we go. Oops, now it's gone. All right, I will need help. Was there? So, okay, so let's see here. So discretionary factors. These are the factors that are contained within the ordinance for your board to consider today in arriving at your decision. They certainly aren't limited to these factors, but this is what the ordinance calls out. That is the danger to public health, safety, and welfare, the culpability of those involved, the willfulness of the violation, the effect of the violation on surrounding properties and the community, the length of time the violation existed, reasonableness of corrective action, recidivism, and credibility of testimony. So these are the relevant dates. These are the important dates that got us here. So on 11/6/2020, received a citizen's complaint, and that's what opened the case. I'm going to read you what the citizen complaint was because I have it in front of me. It says the house on the property is burned down, leaving only the garage intact. People are living in the garage and they have a generator on 24 hours a day. People are living in a trailer as well. They're using drugs, and the complainant is finding dope bags on the ground all of the time. So you can see there between March of 21 and June of 23, we made many, many inspections, tried to gain voluntary compliance, no real progress toward compliance. And in fact, the property continued to get worse. Now, these dates are a little bit all over the place, and I apologize for that, but this is coming out of COVID, and this is when I was losing officers. So the officer that was originally assigned issued an order to abate on June 16th of 2021. On July 1st of 2021, the appeal period expired, and we had not received an appeal for this case. Between December 21st, 2021 and July 30th of 2023, the administrative penalty listed in the order accrued for 587 days. From July 27th to the 31st of 2023, the formal abatement of the property was overseen by my department. And then the demand for payment issued to the owner continues to remain unpaid. And again, that's why we're here. So jumping back to that notice in order to abate, I just want to list the items that were listed in the order prior to jumping into the photographs. So it was for a substandard, unsafe, and fire-damaged dwelling that was considered to be a harborage for vector and vermin and an attractive nuisance for individuals. That was, I believe that the dwelling was also being occupied. There was an accumulation and storage of junk, trash, and debris throughout the property. There was an accumulation and storage of inoperable, wrecked, dismantled vehicles. There was the emplacement of recreational vehicles for human habitation, the discharge of sewage onto the ground surface, unlawful disposal of solid waste, and creating a visual blight. So this is where we're talking about. So this is a satellite image of Conn Avenue. It's in the red. You can see its close proximity to Cedar Lane School. And then looking across the highway there to the upper right, you can see where Walmart is. These are the photographs that are representative of what we found. You can see there closest to the house, a trailer of junk and debris, also some around the house. I'll point out the flag that's on the roof simply because later on we're going to see that same flag tattered and torn, so you realize that some of the pictures were taken over time. In the upper right there, you can see a Taurus travel trailer. That was one of the travel trailers that was being occupied. Here's a closer look at the junk and debris that was on the property. You can see it both bagged and exposed. It was not in approved containers or being removed from the property in a timely manner per the ordinance. Here's some older photography of the burn damage on the left, and then some burn damage on the right as well in that photograph. And you can also see evidence of people sleeping in this space. There's some drawers, a chest of drawers there that have clothing on them. Here's another view of the occupied travel trailer. You can see that right behind those tires there in the foreground of the picture, the ground is somewhat wet, likely due to discharging sewage. Here's another trailer that was brought on site. There's the flag on the roof that I told you we'd see again that was tattered. Also gang graffiti. And then you can see another RV in the back yard or the side yard there at the back of the property. So this is what the property looked like after the abatement. You can even see that the neighbors tried to screen their view with some material just so they didn't have to look at the property. This is representative of the accounting that we're seeking. I don't know what she hit here, Natalie. Was it, nope, that wasn't it. Well, the total amount, $87,221.60. Again, that is in your packet and marked as attachment B. Of that, you can see just over 50 hours of staff time we charged to this project, at just about $7,300. And then that an administrative penalty for 587 days at $100 per day for $58,700. So, as always, I've prepared findings of fact, conclusions of law, and orders for your board that are consistent with the recommendation that I put forward. And so today I'm recommending that you adopt those findings of fact, conclusions of law, and orders as written. I'm asking the board to find that the administrative and abatement costs and penalties as exhibited in the cost accounting are accurate and reasonable. I'm asking the board order that the administrative and abatement costs in the amount of $28,521.60 be placed as a special tax assessment on the property tax bill. And finally, order that the administrative and abatement costs and penalties in the amount of $87,221.60 be recorded as an abatement lien with the county. With that, any questions that your board may have?
Any questions? Board?
Yes. All right. You see there was a sewage problem on this location?
Yes, Supervisor Vasquez. It's my understanding that the officers assigned to this case at one time or another had observed sewage being discharged from a recreational vehicle onto the ground surface.
Okay. Can you bring up the recommendations?
We're going to still hear another witness.
Okay.
You want me to read from the administrator?
No, let's, we'll I'll wait, but that sewage, I understand would be continuously discharging in those days that are indicated on the like 587 days. That's almost 2 years.
Yes, Supervisor Vasquez, let me see if I can interpret your question. I'm not suggesting that there was sewage discharging to the ground surface every day for 587 days. That 587 days captures all of the violations that were observed that you saw in the photographs of the property that were eventually removed in July of 23. And the reason that the 587 days elapsed is that the originally assigned officer had left the department. I did not have an officer to assign to the case. The violations persisted and continued to plague the community, and they had to suffer those violations. And as soon as I had a new officer that was up to speed and able to perform the abatement, we did so, and we ceased the administrative penalty at that time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, why don't we hear from our other witness then?
You can go to either one.
How you doing? All right. Well, as you can see, the trailer that they're referring to with the sewage track is not even on my property.
Through the chair, not to interrupt, but for the record, could we have him state his name? So
Eric Daniel Winona. So if you guys can run back to the photos, we'll show the property line, and the trailer's not even on my property. Nor did I say it could be there. It got forced there, and then I had a hard time getting rid of it. It's not on my property. It's on the county. It's on the county right away, on the PG&E right away. Also, I had pulled a permit to tear down my house, right? They came and pulled my permit, right? And said because I hadn't had an inspection within a year. Well, the law states that you have to have work started within a year, right? And I had already started the work tearing the siding off because the insurance company that I was dealing with said that I had to take the siding off because it had lead paint. And there was $48,000 to do, so I'll just do it myself, right? And so I went and got a permit and started to work. I've been going through some things. I lost my son and stuff, so things have been tough for me, right? They came and pulled my permit, right? And then tore down my house. Also, when they came to do the inspection, you'll see on here, they came and presented me with the warrant to go in, right? Plus posted it, plus went in on the same day. Well, the warrant says you must have 24 hours prior to entering the home. I mean, we're living in a neighborhood that don't even have sidewalks, right? Implementing new rules in old neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm totally innocent in the whole thing, right? But I just think it's a little bit ridiculous when you come and you tear down my house. I had a flag up there. I had my son's memorial there. They tore it out too. His headstone, they ran it over. You know, it's just, it ain't right. My grandfather served in World War II and bought that house on a GI Bill and gave it to me. And they tore it down. Well, I was still fighting with the insurance company. So I don't know where we go from here, right? But I don't think that I've been done right neither.
After your statement, we can ask questions.
Go ahead.
Questions from the board?
You go.
Through the chair. Are there, I mean, I know we work really hard with property owners to try to, address their concerns, give them lots of time. Jeremy, are there items in the administrative record related to this and the conversations that have kind of been brought up or the concerns that are brought up? I mean, is there a record of going back and forth with the county on those things?
There are 16 pages, 60 entries of chronology records that do capture some of what Mr. Winona has stated. I will tell you that not only my office, but the sheriff's office, the DA's office has been involved in this case. I will tell you that one of the first things about the trailer is that there was an appeal period. He chose not to exercise that right. And that would have been the opportunity for that to be argued. I do see that there was, and forgive me, I did not memorize all 60 entries and I'm not the officer assigned. So
No problem.
there was a building permit that was obtained, I believe this said April of 2022. So almost 2 years after the fire. No measurable activity had been observed to correct the issue. And again, it's my belief that the property continued to deteriorate. Yes, B220881, 4/26 of 2022. I know that Mr. Winona is contending that they don't expire, but by operation of law, they do expire. The law recently changed. It may have been 180 days. At this point back here, I believe the state changed the law to 12 months if there's no active inspection made or called for.
What inspection would there be?
It would have been through the chair, if you'd like me to answer that, it would have been a final inspection. Usually with demolition permits, you have one inspection and that would be the final.
Okay.
Yeah, and the permit was good for 2 years. That would be at the end of it. Plus, I got charged right here for drive-by inspections, right? But I didn't have it.
If I may, so to clarify, I think that the drive-by inspections are not requested at your behalf, but instead are done as they are periodically checking up on the complaint. Is that accurate? That's the drive-by inspections?
Drive-by inspections by the building department or by code enforcement? Yeah, our drive-by inspections would be for periodic.
Right. So as far as your permit, so just so I understand the big picture, there was a fire in your house.
Yeah.
And you were living there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after the fire, the house was uninhabitable.
Okay.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. But it was in fact being inhabited.
I was living in the garage, right? Because the insurance company just stopped paying because they deemed it undetermined, right? The fire. So once they do that, it's like, boop, done. All right. And so I had no place to go.
And so even though the trailer might be contested, as in you reported it to the county for them to tow it away, they didn't tow it away, you were not living in that trailer, those weren't your family or friends. No. So, but the overarching issue is that there was a burnt out house that was being inhabited that is not allowed to be inhabited. Is that accurate?
The house was posted unsafe to occupy. Garages are not allowed to be occupied for habitation. They're for parking cars.
So that's, I think, where the issue is. Is there any other questions? Or does that summarize?
My issue is that these laws, right, that we have, but we're only going to apply them where it benefits us or what?
So in answer to that, none of us are going to get a benefit from enforcing this.
What I'm saying is that it states clearly on the warrant, right, that you have to post it and then wait 24 hours prior to entering. But they posted it, came in the same day. It shows it right on here.
Do you know what he's referring to, Jeremy?
I do not, but I can tell you that, and I don't even know if it's a code enforcement warrant. Generally, inspection warrants, civil inspection warrants require 24-hour advance notice. Generally, that doesn't mean that they always do. So there are many types of warrants that we execute where we do not give advance notice, and that is authorized by the signing judge.
It said right on there, 24 hours.
All right. What would have changed in that 24 hours?
Nothing. I'm just saying, if we're going to make the rules, then we're going to follow them, right?
That would be the way we want to do things.
Right. Not just when it works to our advantage, but all the time.
Sure. But in this case, the 24 hours did not make a material difference.
Through the chair, but I'm going to go ahead and address that because I happen to turn right to the right page. Officer Gabriel Torres on 6/19 of 2023 at approximately 9:32 a.m. posted a copy of a 24-hour notice of issuance of inspection warrant to the front of the dwelling. I took a photograph of that posting. No, I do not have it here as part of this presentation. of its posting and its location. And so we did post it in advance of it, and there are photographs in the record of that. Not part of this today because we're not talking about the nuisance per se. We're talking about the costs.
Okay. The question is the house was uninhabitable. It was being inhabited. The abatement that occurred, the destruction of the house, was to clean the property up. You feel is damage to you because of the importance, your father buying it with the GI Bill.
No, the thing is that I had a permit to do it, right? And my permit was good for 2 years, right? So they pulled my permit and just came and did it.
I think that,
But it didn't say, there was no one saying that I have to work at a certain pace, right? Who says that? Who says that I'm not going fast enough?
well,
Or
I
slow
think
enough?
I think their initial contact with you is you need to do something within so many days. So that's what they said at the very beginning. You have to do it with a time frame.
Then why would they give me a permit for 2 years to tear down my house? I was doing it piece by piece because I was saving the siding.
So the time frame that he was initially given to remedy, is that 30 days, 90 days? What was the initial request?
Initial order that was issued to him, offered him, was issued on June 16th of 2021 and allowed him until December 1st of 2021 to remedy the issue. And as you can see, we didn't start the penalty until 12/21. So another
6
20
months.
days beyond that for action to be taken. And again, that's 2021.
Yeah.
Didn't obtain the permit until 2022, which was even after that.
Right. So I think that there may have been a misunderstanding on your part. You had 6 months to fix it. It didn't get fixed in 6 months. Even if some other things, if the permit gave you a longer time frame to do work, but the original direction is this had to be resolved within 6 months.
Then why would they come and tell me to go get a permit? When I was tearing the siding off, they came back there, right? Every time I try to work on it, I get kicked out. So I'm back there working, and the officers come over and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Eric, I said, "I'm tearing off the siding." He said, "Well, you need to get a permit." I said, "What would that fall under?" She said, "Demolition." So I went and got one. So what was the point of it then?
Jeremy, is there
This
an
is
easy
more of my
answer for
money.
him? There seems to be a misunderstanding about what things he was doing.
In fact, Supervisor Fuhrer, there is a point, and it came up this morning during a ordinance hearing, is that we allow ample opportunity for people to correct the conditions on their property and no longer allow it to be a nuisance to the community. That did not happen. Again, this case opened in 2020. We did not abate it until 2023. So I think that we've done everything that we could do to gain voluntary compliance. And in the absence of that, we oversaw the abatement of the nuisance.
All right, thank you. Do I need to open the public hearing at this point?
Yes, open the public hearing, please.
I open the public hearing.
Yes, and then I believe there's someone else who was in the waiting room.
Is there any public comment?
Okay.
I will close the public hearing then.
Correct.
And I will entertain a motion. I think Mr. Vasquez wanted to see your next slide.
Some of the things, and 587 days is a long time. Would we bring it back down to 6 months to 407 days and adjust the penalty by that? Is that something that you can live with?
Talking to me?
Yes.
No. I don't agree with any of it.
Okay, well, I'll make that change and adopt the finding of fact, conclusions of law and orders as written, and find the administrative and abatement costs and penalties as exhibited on the cost accounting are accurate and reasonable. We'll adjust the order that the administrative and abatement costs in amount of $28,521.60 be reduced by 180. Yes.
Can I interrupt, Andy, if it's all right? I believe the 28,521.60 is not what you're going to be adjusting. I believe the number you're looking to adjust is the 87,000. So I think that we want to leave
Okay,
the 20. Yeah.
87.
So I think the 28,000 is in fact as is, and it's the 87 that you want to adjust. Let's get just a quick poll. Gary and John, are you either of you interested in adjusting those numbers? Or are you thinking which is there, can I ask that's
No, sir.
okay. But I just don't want to make them keep reading for no purpose.
Well, yeah, you have the right to make a motion.
All right. Please
Okay.
proceed.
All right, well, we'll try and figure this out. That's 180 days and at $100 a day. That's, wow. That's just a shekel or two.
18,800.
All right, help me with the math, guys.
That would be
18,800.
407 days, I think is what you're proposing.
Right,
At $100 per day is $40,700. So
in,
that would, give me a minute and I'll finish the math for you.
Correct.
It's $18,000. Yes. So that would bring your second number from 87,000 down to $69,221.60.
69,221 and
60.
60.
Yes.
Okay. And let's see, order the administrative and abatement costs penalties in the amount of $69,221.60, I think. Okay. Be recorded as an abatement lien in with the county recorder. So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, without a second, is there a different motion on the table?
I'll move to adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and orders as written, and find that the administrative and abatement costs and penalties as exhibited in the cost accounting hearing are accurate and reasonable. Order that the administrative and abatement costs in the amount of $28,521.60 be placed as a special tax assessment on the property tax roll, and order that the administrative and abatement costs and penalties in the amount of $87,221.60 be recorded as an abatement lien with the county recorder.
Is there a second?
I'm gonna have to abstain on the whole vote.
Oh, see, I needed to know that earlier. You're choosing to abstain, and the grounds for abstention is?
I have a relationship with Mr. Winona,
Oh, all right. Very good.
long time. Yes. Actually, has property stored on my property.
All right, very good. So we have two motions. If we don't second the second one, just as a matter of policy, what happens?
It dies.
Right, and then what happens?
Nothing in this.
Hey, we just sit here and keep doing motions?
Or you could continue the matter.
All right, I will second the motion. Let's go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Supervisor Vasquez,
Yes.
Supervisor Blazer is absent. Supervisor Fuhrer,
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford,
Yes.
Supervisor Messick.
Abstain.
Motion passes.
I say no. Counts.
Thank you, board.
Okay.
We're all done with that topic.
That's
Since
it.
the other matter is not, have a gentleman to oppose, are we going to do anything with that?
Yes, through the chair, I will still read in the staff report. You will make a motion and vote on that.
Done? We're all done?
Yes.
Give me just a moment to bring it up.
And I open up,
Wait till after he does his. Yeah.
Oh, I think I messed it up. I messed it up. I hit the wrong X.
Set up. Okay. I kept waiting for John to do it, and then John's not going to do it. I was confused.
The county forward. You guys made the right call.
So, okay.
That was what we just want to do. He did this lab and stamp.
Okay, thank you for that. You ready?
Please proceed.
The next item in front of your board today is item 266, which is a cost accounting hearing for property located at 8329 Highway 20 in Smartsville, California, parcel number 006-231-008. As your board is aware, this is not an appeal hearing regarding the determination of a public nuisance. Because an appeal is not timely filed, that determination is final and questions related to the nuisance cannot be considered. So that means, same as the previous hearing, you're limited to 3 things today. For this hearing, I'm not going to read them in, but they are in my staff report. So also, we have the factors to consider. I'm not going to read them in, but they are consistent with what's in the ordinance. So these are the relevant actions and dates. This is an old case. So this case started back in 2011. We received a complaint of 3 occupied travel trailers, junk, trash, and debris, and marijuana growing operations. This is right after the boom. We had lost people to layoffs, people retired, and we were down to 2 officers for a long time. It took all the way back to 2022 where we had enough people to get back on task with this. And you can see there on July 12th, Officer Amy Gibbs was assigned to this case. So Officer Gibbs performed many inspections and had many a conversation with the property owner and the occupant of the property owner, which led to nothing other than a notice in order to abate public nuisance, which was issued on March 3rd of 2023. The conditions on the property were maintaining an environment for the propagation and harborage of vector and vermin by the accumulation and storage of junk, trash, and debris, a substandard and unmaintained mobile home that ended up being destroyed, not fully destroyed, but damaged by fire, the accumulation and storage of abandoned, wrecked, dismantled, and inoperable vehicles, the emplacement of occupants and occupancy of recreational vehicles for human habitation, the illegal alteration of a blue line stream, and creating a visual blight. So you can see there that between April 14th of 2023 and the abatement date of 10/9, an administrative penalty accrued for 179 days. The formal abatement of all nuisances occurred on October 9th, 2023, and the demand for payment remains unpaid. So this is what we're talking about. It's in red there. It's in the community of Smartsville, and it's accessed by Highway 20. There were over 6 complainants on this, and over the years, over 186 entries from staff. So you can see Parks Bar Bridge to the upper left of your screen, just to give you an idea what we're talking about. You've seen this picture before. It made it into my presentation earlier this year. These are the conditions that were observed and continued to be there for a long time. This picture, January 11th of 2023. We have a couple others that demonstrate what was there. This is the dilapidated modular home. Here's just a couple of close-up of some of the inoperable vehicles that were present on the property. Here's an occupied recreational vehicle. And then this is what the property looked like after we were done with the abatement. So the cost accounting, 3 pages. We have $36,145.32 that we're asking your board to approve. Of that, a little over 59 hours is staff time, just over $8,800. And that administrative penalty was $86 per day for 179 days for $15,394. I have prepared findings of fact, conclusions, and law and orders for your board based on this recommendation. And with that, I do recommend that you adopt those findings Find that the administrative and abatement costs and penalties as exhibited in your cost accounting are accurate and reasonable. Order that the administrative and abatement costs in the amount of $20,751.32 be placed as a special tax assessment on the property tax roll. And finally, order that the administrative and abatement costs and penalties in the amount of $36,145.32 be recorded as an abatement lien with the recorder. Any questions that you may have? I'll try and help.
Through the chair. No one here?
No one is here for this.
Okay.
Open the public hearing. Any public comment? Closing the public hearing.
Move to adopt the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and orders as written. Find the administrative and abatement costs and penalties exhibited in the cost accounting are accurate and reasonable. Order that the administrative and abatement costs in the amount of $20,751.32 be placed as a special tax assessment on the property tax roll. Or the administrative and abatement costs and penalties in the amount of $36,145.32 be recorded as an abatement lien with the county recorder.
I'll second that.
Second, have a roll call vote.
Supervisor Vasquez.
Yes.
Supervisor Blazer is absent. Supervisor Fuhrer.
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford.
Yes.
Supervisor Messick.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, board. Appreciate it.
We hereby conclude this meeting, but if you can pull back
Well,
a slide, I have a question. I'm sorry.
Through the chair, I forgot. I was waiting until adjournment. When we adjourn in the memory of Bill Like Q, who passed away May 7th, 2024, who will be laid to rest in Georgia on June 21st, 2020.
We will hereby adjourn this meeting in honor thereof.
Thank you.
This is the meeting's
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
In the heart of Yuba County's wine country lies a quiet estate, surrounded by tall pines, a lake with waterfowl and fish, and room to get married. Share your vows with your family and friends in a special place, in a memorable way.
It turned out to be everything I thought it would be and more.
Frenchtown Inn, just 38 minutes from Marysville, a world away from the usual.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
yourself a meal.